League Commissioner, back-to-back premiers, and future Hall of Famer. How did that sit with you? Pretty well, Con, but you forgot to mention my humbleness. Of course, we just assume that now. Let's start at the beginning with the foundation of the league. Is it true you weren't the original founder? That's correct, Con. Great research. The league started back in 2013 as a bit of a novelty set up by Mogdog of all people. Probably the only good thing he's ever done, really. But when you see how far the league's come since, it's hard to compare that first season to the rest. Fascinating. And is it also true that Mogdog started the draft message? Yes and no. I mean, it was very amateur, the one Mogdog set up. It was, in fact, no one really enjoyed it. We just sort of gave him the sympathy laugh because it seemed to be like the only thing that was going for him. Comparing the draft message now to the one I do now to Mog's is just as crude and it's poor. Just poor. I've actually read some of her messages and I tend to agree with you. But moving along, the league started with only 8 players, and despite Moog being the commissioner, is it true that the draft night was held at your house? It is. Back in those days, Mog had this habit of creating an event and then hosting it at my house. It was pretty bloody annoying, if truth be told, because then he just, sets it up, does whatever he likes, doesn't bring anything, because he's, just rude and he had no money back then either. And then, just leaves all the hosting duties to me or the cleaning up. It was pathetic, really. Now, is it true he did that with the draft barbecue as well? Yes, exactly. Organised the event, sets it up at someone else's house. It's rude in every culture in the world. But his behaviour was so much worse that day. Like, just drunk out of his mind. Just, can't handle his grog. Vomiting on the fences, falling over, the naked bathtub scene. Like, we all remember that. I just thank God Mum and Katrina went home, because if they'd walked in on that, God knows what would have happened. It was scarred for life. Truly disgusting behaviour. Why didn't you exile him from the league? Oh, it was contemplated, very strongly contemplated, but every good league needs villains, and Mog definitely fitted the bill. Now, first season, 8 buys, so 8 teams, playing through buys, no finals. Seems primitive to what we have now. Couldn't agree more with you, Con. Ultimately, that's probably why JB won the league, because, well, it's only 8 teams played through finals, so there's a randomness there. And then, well, there's no finals, so there's no pressure on you to perform at the right time of year, no pressure the time you run. We all know JB doesn't have the stomach to win a final. He just constantly chokes on the long schlong of pressure, so that's the only way he's going to win it, actively in a Premier League style. And to his credit, though, he did win it. Is it true that he had an issue with the fine system this year? He did. I tell you what, you've never seen one of the bigger dummy spits of all time. Oh man, it was embarrassing actually. While he was having his dummy spit, me and Luke just sort of teed up that we would just keep baiting him along. And while he was still having his dummy spit, just embarrassing himself. Embarrassing is a good word. I think I got messages from 4 other of the draft participants saying, "Is he serious?" I tried to reply, sadly, yes. We get to the point where you're 24, 25 years old, you should be earning enough money that $20 fine here and there doesn't hurt you. But man, wow. Just wow. So after the first season, it's fair to say you saw the potential of the league and you took over, immediately expanded to 12 teams and took over the draft message. What was the response? Yes, it was good. We had an immediate response to the draft message. The inclusion of the Mark Newell Coaches Award was a big hit. But you're always going to have a spike. If you actually had the transcripts of Mog's original messages, they were just so poor, so ordinary. So it was always going to be that natural improvement. And then obviously with the expansion of the league to 12 teams, it was a hit. And the introduction to finals, so it's great. That is embarrassing, but fair to say, despite the success of the expanded league, the second season will probably go down as one of draft's darkest chapters. Oh yeah, no doubt. There was the Matty D and Keisha tanking gate. One of them traded Liberatore for Stanton, and at the time Liberatore was a superstar compared to Stanton, and they tried to claim that it was an even trade. And then the next year they did the exact same thing with Gary Ablett, so it just completely ruined their argument. But besides that, Matty D had a very strong team that year. He knocked me out in the first semi-final, which really gutted me. And then it turned out to be Matty D and Moggy in the final, so it was like the lesser of two evils. You had the drug cheat or the tanking cheat, or you had Moggy, who's just Moggy. So in the end, I guess it was probably best that Moggy won because it didn't taint the league as much. It's amazing the league could have survived those through such controversy. Oh, strongly considered it. I was so disillusioned with the whole cheating scandal and actually the fact that Moggy could win the league. It hurt. It hurt a lot. But if I walked away with Moggy as a champion, I just don't think I would have been able to sleep. What? That's a revelation. You're going to walk away from the league. Oh, dark days indeed. I strongly consider walking away. Strong words. Strong words. It's fair to say that was the turning point. Yeah, I pretty much decided after that I would not lose I wouldn't lose again. That was it. Now, before we move on to the 2015 season, we have one more draft barbecue controversy to discuss, and that's Alex's display. Yeah, well, as bad as Moggy was the year before, Alex the next time was so much worse. Is it true that he vomited on himself? Well, usually what happens on draft barbecue stays in draft barbecue, but I'll make an exception this time.
And I appreciate it.
Well, Sydney game was on, drinking too much as usual, and he just was cheering and vomited at the same time, and it just sort of came out and sort of hit himself just about here. And then he just kept sitting there while everyone else was sitting there, you know, roaring at the disgust. And he said, "No, I didn't chuck," where we could clearly see there was vomit. And yeah, so I ended up having to swap shirt. I was at my house again, but so I just had to lend him a shirt. Your quality is shown in every aspect. And so after further making an idiot of himself, he then proceeded to try and start the barbecue again. Now, in his state, he shouldn't have been cooking anyway. All he was going to do is burn himself. Getting grease all over my new shirt, which point Richo comes over and says, "Look, get him under control or I'm calling his mum to leave." He got that bad? Oh, you were shocking, Con. Absolutely shocking. Spoke to him for a few minutes. I thought I had him under control, but typical Alex drunk style, there's just no control. And within seconds, he was throwing things around and trying to cook the barbecue again, and that was it. Call was made, sent home.
Truly shameful. Is it true you never returned the shirt?
Mate, I've been trying to get that shirt back for years. Every single time I'm washing it, I'm getting Mum to wash it. Grease isn't coming out. I've never seen that shirt again. I just reckon he's kept it. Truly shameful. Is it true that he never returned the shirt? But that was only the beginning. I've lent him large sums of money, both, you know, losing money on the races because he's a gambling addict. He's a gambling degenerate, really. And he's yet to pay me back, man. It's like, this is getting to 6 month territory. So we just thought we'd call him the Bank of Greece. Bank of Greece, brilliant. Thank you, Con, but what really hurt was not getting the call up to the groom's party. That's... keep the tissues, please. When?
Wow.
You know, how much...
Just make it.
How much is friendship worth?
No.
It's obviously it's worth more than $500 because that's how much I lent him. You didn't make it. What? Simply baffling. On that note, time for a break, and when we return, the glory days.
Great deal with an even greater deal. Come to LFC. If you want a quick bite, just come here tonight at LFC. If you want something you need to put in your tummy at LFC. If chicken is your dinner, then you'll think gobble at LFC. Good fried chicken, 24 locations around Victoria. Come now!